I really feel that like I want to get my point across in this vlog in particular, because things like this can happen and you just kind of have to like solve one problem at a time. That's kind of like what I'm going through now. What's up, everybody? We're coming to you from the tiny house right now on property. This video is going to be amazing and a doozy because I changed all of my electrical system, not all, a lot of my electrical system that is behind me right now. This is the new stuff that is in here. I made mistakes. I am willing to admit when I make mistakes, and I made a big one. But it's okay, we've got it fixed. I was pretty much down and out of power for 13 days. Stay tuned for the rest of the video to see what the heck I did and how I fixed it. All right, so before we go into all of the rest of the video and what I did to make the changes that are behind me, we are going to give a shout out to RV Solar Connections, which is the company that I bought the new equipment off of, that I consulted with about upgrading my equipment or using the all blue Victron behind me right now. I'm also going to be a Victron affiliate through them. I've never been a Victron affiliate. I've been doing this for many years. So make sure you click that link below if you do want Victron through RV Solar Connections. They have been a massive help to me. I actually met the RV Solar Connection crew out at the Colorado Tiny House Fest, which is obviously in Colorado. It's just outside of Denver. I go to that festival every year. Luckily, I met, you know, the team over there. Hi, Lady. Hi, honey. But I met everybody over at the team over there, and they couldn't have been more helpful. I grabbed their card, and at that time, I already had my electrical system. I don't know if it was already in. Yeah, it was already in, because that was June. I think I put the electrical system in April. So I was like, guys, I don't really need you, but maybe I'll need you in a future, you know, build or something like that. And I kept this card, and very, very fortunate I did. I reached out to them, and it was also really great because we're going to get into it in the video, but I got a solar charge controller that's behind me right now. And I told him that I eventually want to have the capability of adding more solar panels. He was like, hey man, I want to make sure that I size you up properly to get you a big enough solar charge controller to do all of that. So let's get into the rest of the video right now, kind of where it all began and what happened and what I did. So this is a vlog that I really wish I wasn't doing, but I really feel that internet needs to see it. I think that it's important, and it needs to be known that sometimes off-grid living isn't as glamorous as everybody thinks it is. I'll show you inside that cabinet in a little while, but that's my electrical cabinet. I have lights on in my tiny house, so I have power. However, I am really glad that I held on to all of these portable power stations. I've got one here, I've got one here, and we're gonna go outside. I'm gonna show you two more out there. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did, but I just killed my inverter. It's gone. Had a large spark, loud popping sound, and there was smoke coming out of it. It was not how it was wired. It was not, I think it had to do with the generator powering, and then I was running my Brava simultaneously while the TV was on. I think the generator just was putting too much surge or power into the system. I don't know. Still trying to diagnose the issue. For everybody that is going to comment below and be like, I think it's this, I think it's this, I think it's this. Guys, I have talked to some of the top experts in this industry, and we're still trying to diagnose the issue. However, that being said, I have to fix the problem that I caused, that I blew my inverter. I am not going with the company that I had before. In there is a Grow Watt. So in this video, I will show the new product, which I'm hoping, I haven't gotten confirmation on it yet, but I'm thinking I'm going with a Victron, and I think I'm actually gonna go with the Quattro, a 5,000 watt Quattro. It has to be a 48 volt because I got two 48 volt batteries. And I am now separating. So the old inverter charger that's in there, that it doesn't even power right now, is also my MPPT solar charge controller. And that is why I have to charge the batteries the way that I'm doing right now, because if my inverter just went, that wouldn't be an issue, because I ran everything in the house DC power. If I had a separate solar charge controller, I could continue charging via solar into my batteries, but I can't do that. I had a 48 volt trickle charger, which is this right here. That requires a 120 volt plug. I have nowhere to plug into. So I have this power source that Thank you. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. That is powering the trickle charger, and I have charging one battery at a time. So I'm going to run this for as long as I can today. I'm going to switch over the battery and run the second one. Now, luckily in my electrical system, I'm able to control which battery is turned off. So right now this battery is on, however the breaker is off, so it's not like depleting charge while it's trying to charge. The house is being run off of a single battery right now, which is my heater, because that's 12-volt power, all of my lights, my air conditioner, which I don't need, really anything that is direct current or DC power. I don't have great cell service, so I have Starlink internet. Starlink, you need to plug into a wall, so enter another power source. I now have Starlink plugged into this power source, but Starlink does pull a lot of power. Luckily, this thing is a beast. Outside, I have my generator. It's gonna be loud for a second here, but I got my generator, and I got 2 more power stations over there that are charging those, so I can use them through the night if I need to do any cooking or anything like that, or even plug my Starlink into another one. Now, all of this wouldn't have been an issue if I had a telephone pole, which, by the way, isn't hard, because the telephone poles are at street, which are right there. So I'd have to just pay somewhere between 10 to 15 grand to have the power company run up a pole up into my property up here, and then it could sit on my property and I could just plug into the grid power if I needed to. I actually don't know how much it's gonna cost. It could be 8 grand, I don't know. I'd have to go get a quote. I haven't done that yet. But let's fast forward to several days later. All right, guys, I am now actually at my good buddy's shop in New Hampshire. He's doing some work on a van right now. Exploration Vans. When I ordered the new parts, the company I ordered it from, they didn't have any in stock, because this is the 48-volt 5,000 watt inverter. Just nobody really has those in stock, so it came directly from Victron. So when you order directly from Victron, unfortunately, you can't get it shipped to a residential address like me. So very luckily, I have a van builder that is, what are you, about an hour and a half from me? Yeah. So I drove an hour to go pick up the parts, and oddly enough, later on this week, Nick's actually going to come over and he's going to help me do the switch out, because I can do it, but this guy's a certified marine electrician, and I'd feel more comfortable him doing the switch out. So I'll show you guys how it came. This is all the stuff right here. This is the 5,000 watt 48 volt inverter. I actually don't know what's in this box. He said he sent me a couple extra goodies. And then this is the massive solar charge controller, 250/85. I mean, this thing is a beast. So I'm a little under the weather right now, guys. I took a little trip, but I'm excited to switch over to Victron. Victron was what I should have went with in the first place, and now I'm excited. I killed 2 birds, 1 stone, because I am also charging up my power stations. Those right there. So need to charge those up so I can still run my house AC power wise. So if I need to do any more cooking, I run my Starlink off of that, like I showed you guys at the beginning of this video. We're also gonna get a tour in with this spec van that he's done. Would you say it has about 50 grand in exterior components?
A little north of that.
A little north of it?
Yeah.
A little north of 50 grand on the exterior. Holy crap. What the hell did you do?
Suspension, brake upgrade, exterior lights, roof rack, awnings on both sides, the snorkels, the front end, the winch, the rear lights, the rear bumper, front bumper.
It's got the dual awning. It's so, it's not unusual, but like when you see it out, it's really cool.
It's pretty neat.
I need to take a break before I do the shop tour, because my cold is getting to me. He's just over here switching out tires. Look at the size of the tire compared to Nick.
It's big. But I'm small and petite, so everything looks big next to me.
Let's pick this up when Nick comes over and he helps me switch out the Victron inverter with the, I don't want to say crappy grow watt, but just...
It's with a more budget-oriented product.
It's more budget-oriented, is that what you just said?
Yeah.
I really feel that, like, I want to get my point across in this vlog in particular, because things like this can happen and you just kind of have to, like, solve one problem at a time. That's kind of like what I'm going through now. So you saw that I got the parts in. This is the charge controller. I was using my power stations to plug in my 48 volt trickle charger, and I was charging my batteries that way. The generator I have is actually a 240 volt output generator, and I needed that for the grow up. I'm now switching inverters to what I feel is a better inverter, and that is a standard regular 120 volt or 30 amp plug that I can use way easier. I needed to get a new generator first off, and I did get not only a newer generator, I got a better generator. And it's an inverter generator, so people that know generators understand that. Old generator, which I'm gonna get rid of as soon as I do all the swapping, that is running an extension cord into the house, into the trickle charger, and as you can see, I am trickle charging one battery at a time. So right now that's reading, I don't know if you saw that, but it was 52.1 volts, which according to the ReLion website and their graph, 52 volts is, I forget, 80%, I want to say. So I'm trying to get that up. The thing is, with a trickle charger, that's exactly what it is. It takes forever to charge because it's trickling. So I'm trying to get it up to at least 53 volts. It's roughly 90, 95%, whatever it is. 53.4, I guess, is like 100%, whatever. I've isolated the battery, so right now the entire house is operating off of one battery, and it's fine. I've been doing that like every 2 days just to get the battery back up to charge. And it's been a rough week. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. You might as well come out with me. I got my old generator there, Westinghouse. It's okay. This is the new inverter generator. I didn't plug in one little thing, and I was trying to start it, and I ended up killing the battery. So right now, my other portable power station to charge that battery. I know. And then once it's charged up, I'll be able to start that. And then I'm going to use this generator to charge up my other power stations so I can have 110 power, and I can run my Starlink, and I can cook food. I was out, and Nick obviously got right to work, and he's already taken apart half of my bench. Thanks a lot, buddy. So he took off the bracing right here that's on my bench. Do you want to take this one off too, buddy? Probably a lot easier.
Yeah, we could do that.
All right, we're going to take that one off right now. But he is already dissecting everything. We're gonna get into some of the crux of this in a minute here, but we'll pick it up in a minute. Looking at the inverter for the first time. Well, not the first time, but. Do you know the difference between Quattro and Multiplus?
Yeah. So it refers to, I believe, the secondary inputs and outputs you get. So you get 4 instead of 2 dedicated.
Got it. All right, you guys might be able to see now. Nick has put the solar charge controller right here. This is all, again, this isn't like over my head, but it's over my head. Like, it's just, there's a lot of stuff that he did that I wouldn't have done or I would have known to do. So having him here has been pretty crucial. But the wiring's all here, and he's just kind of taking the solar wire. As you guys see, the solar wire is right there. He literally just took that out of the original grow watt, which was the inverter, as well as the MPPT controller.
Which we could do because there was still overcurrent protection up here.
And that's what, so you needed, this is a breaker, which he called the overcurrent protection. That's the PV coming in, but we're going to add, are we adding another one going out?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So we always want a fuse or a circuit breaker to protect a length of a conductor between the source of power and the load.
Got it. Yeah. See. And I forgot all about that, and he actually brought one.
So the 250 refers to the incoming volts that you can handle. So you could stack solar panels in series until you reach the max of 250 volts. And
Got it.
The output, the 85 refers to the amount of amps it can take. So the amps is going to be different based on whether you've got a 48 volt system, a 12 volt. So whereas you've got a 48 volt battery bank, this number is trivial because your amperage is so low because your amps decrease as your volts increase.
Yep, whatever he just said, sure. That's why you hire people that are professionals, everybody.
I just have trust issues.
Or you have trust issues. Is it AYBC?
Nearly. ABYC.
ABYC. I am, yeah.
Yeah, American Boat and Yacht Council.
Yeah, that. He's a marine electrician for that company. He's been certified by them, so that's why. Hopefully we're going to show you guys this all done and completed. All right, guys, you can only hear me. You can't see me. We've been working into the night. We turn the lights off just for effect mostly, but I do have the HART lights that are right there that we've been working for us. But Nick wanted to turn on the everything to make sure it all works. So Nick, I can see you barely. Here, you gonna turn on the inverter right now?
You ready? Feeling sassy? Yeah.
Now, you guys might be able to hear a little bit of buzzing in the background. That's actually my generator running. I'll turn my... There we go.
Hey,
now the house lights are on.
Who'd have thunk?
Who would have thunk it? Well, I would have thunk it because you did it. I don't know. For the ones that are kind of novice. You put the solar charge controller in.
Yep. Again,
shout out to RV Solar Connections. Make sure you guys click that link below to get your whatever crap.
Discount. There's going to be a code, right?
Yeah, there's going to be a code.
There's always a code.
So Nick also took the last couple minutes before we turned the camera on. He actually programmed everything. Yeah, why don't you kind of explain? I don't know. Explain whatever you did.
Sure. I mean, basically the biggest issue that you experienced in the very beginning was your inverter was damaged, perhaps like an internal short or something. But because your inverter and your solar controller were tied together in one unit, you were down for basically all of your charging sources, which you've been doing basically shore power through a generator and your solar. So you were basically dead in the water. So,
I was dead. It was like 2 weeks of deadness. It sucked. And I had to do all that. You guys already saw in the video.
So basically we've split the two. So now there's a device for each of your charging functions to make sure you have redundancy. Right now we're running generator power because it's dark, but tomorrow you'll have solar coming in hopefully. And the only things we had to do is just kind of add additional wiring. This is now a 110 in, 110 out inverter, where your other grow watt, it was 220 in, 220 out. So we had to rewire your entire circuit breaker panel for your alternating
Oh, you already
current.
put that back on?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. People can't
so which
see that.
meant being 110 and not 220, we weren't splitting on two legs of hot, so we had to run larger cable, and that was that. Super easy.
And that's actually more residential electrical, but luckily Nick knows what he was doing when he comes to that kind of stuff. So again, just to like, because I'm an idiot, it's a 220 in, 220 out was the last one, but this one is
110 in,
110 out, 110 in, 110 out. So we had, again, Nick had to change all of that.
Yeah,
just to make sure that
panel, it's always 220 in, and you've got dual phase, a phase for each leg. So instead of having two hot legs, you have one hot leg.
Yeah, it makes it way more easier. This is
we've
way
all
more
seen Jay.
functional.
He has two hot legs. Let's not be silly.
There's 4 hot legs up in this house right now.
No, 8.
Oh, Penny's in here.
Come on.
And it's not that Penny and Glacier don't get along. They get along great. It's just that we're trying to work and trying to get stuff done, and all they want to do.
On my back working when Glacier's trying to like lick my uvula.
Glacier is in love with Nick, so much so that like
Since he was a baby.
you know, I can put my bench back together, but I think Nick deserves a burger and a beer, so I'm going to treat him to that tonight. All right, so after 13 days without proper ways to charge my battery and not having an inverter, which means I don't have any 120 volt, I am now fully operational. It's been a few days since Nick hasn't been here. Actually, it's been almost a week. I gotta say, I don't know what I was thinking about going with that other system. I mean, I don't know if I've said this already in the video, but I was greedy. I was greedy. I got that grow watt for free from a company. I'm not going to say who, but it was from a company that sells it. You know, I took a free product instead of paying a little bit of money, and I paid the price. You get what you pay for, and that is a great way for me to kind of sum that up. Guys, I also want you to know that I am very real on this channel. I'm not trying to fake anything. I don't have anybody holding my camera. You know, if I do have somebody holding my camera, I will tell you, guys, so-and-so is helping me. So-and-so is filming this, or so-and-so is editing this. I do all my own editing. I do everything myself. I have nothing against the people that do it other ways. It's just be honest. You know, I'm starting a podcast called They Just Don't Get It, and hopefully you guys will tune into it. It's going to be on this channel, on my YouTube channel here, but there's a lot of things that people just don't get. That was a rant that was unnecessary, but I feel like it needed to be in here. So anyways, again, shout out to RV Solar Connections. Every time I film, this girl just, like, I don't know. I think it's because when I turn the camera on, I get really passionate, and I think she gets worried about me. So it's okay, sweetie. It's okay. I will say, with the old grow watt that was in here, I will say, because it had this contraption and this contraption, it had a very loud fan into it. I don't know how this cools itself, but I also know that I've left plenty around the space of it for it to cool. I haven't had any overheating issues, and I believe there's even a, you know, warning light for temperature or overheating. Like I've already said in this video, it is the Quattro 48 volt. Again, I have 48 volt batteries, that makes sense. If I had a 12 or 24 volt system, I would have probably went with a multi-plus. I don't know, that I would probably talk to the experts over at RV Solar Connections to kind of know what is best fit for me. But when I told the people over at RV Solar Connections on what I had and what I was planning on doing and etc. and so forth, they recommended this to me, and I looked into it and I was like, yeah, that definitely seems like the best option. I looked up the dimensions online to make sure it would fit, and it all fit beautifully. One of the biggest problems that I had with the old Grow Watt was I had to use a 220 input generator for me to charge my batteries. This particular unit is a standard 30 amp input, 120 volt, you know, 30 amp or whatever it is. Not that I couldn't before, but I can now comfortably take this to an RV park, or I could really hook up, if I do bring electrical up to my land or my property, I would just have to put in a 30 amp plug and I'd be able to plug in. I'm not saying that I am or I'm not going to put in a electrical pole, but we'll see. You never know. You have, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I have no idea what the future holds. I have the Bluetooth capability of checking in on my power. Now it is later in the day. It is a cloudy day, so I'm not getting a lot of solar in right now. Oops, we don't want that. But I'm reading my battery voltage. I'm reading the voltage of the solar, the wattage of the solar. I can check its history of, you know, yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. It can tell me what my solar brought in, what I charged off my generator, etc., etc., etc. So having something like this, again, I am so happy I switched everything to Victron. It is so much easier now. I'm so happy that I went with the bigger one. Now I can add solar. I would love to have some sort of like pergola or some sort of like awning that is a detached from the house, or maybe I have like a fire pit outside, and if I want to add more solar to that, I can now tie into the system and I can run it, you know, very easily. I can double the amount of solar on my roof. So right now I've got about 3,200 watts of solar. Again, I can double that to 6,000 watts of solar. I don't have footage of the old inverter, the Grow Watt, running. I can tell you this, anytime I turned on my Brava oven or I turned on my my Keurig, my coffee machine, when that thing turned on, it sounded like a jet engine because it was loud. I don't have anything I'm gonna be cooking on the Brava right now. I will actually save that for a future video because I really wanna show that Brava off. However, I am due for coffee, my midday coffee. So I am going to actually show you that there is like no like noise coming from that. If I was some like YouTuber that loved to get like different camera angles, I'd be doing all the close-up fast shots and all that stuff. You know, I could do all that. I don't, again, I'm going back to the realness. I don't really feel like it's necessary. Like I get it. I get why people do it. It's very aesthetically pleasing to the eye when you do it that way, but let's just be real. Let's just get the thing done. Oh, I love the smell of fresh coffee. Okay, now normally, like I said, you would actually hear that freaking thing just like kick on, and like jet engine, a fan would just kick on and just, but you can see I'm making coffee. And there's very minimal noise coming out of here. Actually, I don't hear any noise. That actually wraps up the entire power video. There's no sound coming out of that. I'm now running like a regular house. This is awesome. Like, you have no idea the feeling. Those 13 days were rough. Not being able to charge properly, not having, you know, any 120 volt power properly, just not having all the amenities that my house needs. It's all up and running now. It's all good. And if I ever blow another inverter, now at least I have solar charge controller to be able to regenerate my batteries. Till next time.